goodness. So, like I mentioned in the other blog, that I have this horrible bladder disease. Not everybody really knows about it. I've even ran into like emergency room doctors that are like, what is interstitial cystitis, or what is IC? I find it's usually emergency room doctors that don't know, and then a lot of nurses have no idea what it is unless they've worked in urology. For a long time, it was thought that IC was something that was a psychiatric condition, that there was nothing wrong. And they're actually still like male doctors mostly, that don't believe that it's a real thing, when they haven't even been shown images that are taken during a procedure called a hydrodistension, which is a bladder scope. And while they're in there, and they fill the bladder they look at the walls, take photos, they fill the bladder to full capacity, let it down, and then take more photos and look around to see. And that's the only way to get a proper diagnosis too. And it's also kind of a treatment for some people. It'll flare you up for a couple of weeks, and then after that you may not have a flare for a few months. And luckily it's such a minor procedure because there's no incisions, that a lot of doctors don't mind to do it every 6 months, 7 months, something like that. But it's very debilitating. It's I mean, it's debilitating. There is no cure. The only medication that's made for it doesn't really work. It works in about 30% of patients. That's it. And even at that, it can take up to 6 months to start working. When I was first diagnosed, that was the first thing they did, was try me on this medication. As far as I know, there is no long-lasting medication for this. It's something that you have to take like 3 to 4 times a day. When I was on it, it did nothing but cause me to lose hair. I mean, I obviously didn't lose all my hair, but I had quite a bit of hair loss at the time, so they just took me off of it. Now, they do bladder installations. They can do them in office, or teach you to do them at home, which poses an issue with me because I'm allergic to latex. But I've had bladder installations, and they don't work, which is, a bladder installation is done with the French catheter, which is different than a Foley catheter. And it is inserted temporarily, and it has an end on it that fits these large syringes, and you mix medication. It's usually heparin, which is like a blood thinner, and a ton of liquid lidocaine, and you mix it together, and you draw it up in the syringe, and you push it through the French catheter, and then you remove the French catheter, and the idea is to hold the medication in the bladder as long as you possibly can. And the last one that I had done, I felt good that day because of the lidocaine. The next morning, I was in hell, and I lived like that for over a month. And then shortly after that is when we discovered that I had a latex allergy. And how we found that out was my daughter had made me a bracelet made out of rubber bands that were latex. And I had wore it not long, and I woke up the next day and I had this rash up my arm. And I knew right then it was likely contact dermatitis, but I couldn't figure out why or from what, because it was only one arm, and up till that point I had never shown any signs of a latex allergic reaction. And I went to the doctor, and I mentioned the bracelet had already taken it off by that point, and it was starting to heal up on its own. And she did an in-office test, and sure enough, I was allergic to latex. I actually reacted immediately at that point. So, yeah, it sucks because I was originally diagnosed like 14 years ago. Well, it wasn't an official diagnosis. I had a, well, this is probably what's going on diagnosis. And I got an official diagnosis about 10 years ago. And by then I was already in the pretty chronic stage, and it was pretty bad. And he couldn't do anything for me. The only answer that he had was going to a pain clinic at the hospital, which is not like these pill dispensaries that just want to get you high, but coming from parents that are addicts, or well, recovering addicts. My father's has been an alcoholic for my whole life, but my mother has had a pill addiction battle quite a while in her life. I'm proud to say she's been clean for quite some time now, but it still scares me taking medication. So we tried alternative treatments, TENS unit that I would put on the bladder area. Nothing like that really worked. So far I've been unsuccessful in anything that I've tried for treatments in the past 10 to 14 years. The only thing that has slightly even helped was the hydrodistensions, which they do in a surgery room, and they have to put you under anesthesia. So, I mean, it's not a great idea, but it is what it is. But I found a doctor that specializes in IC and has a very holistic approach to it, and I went to see her, and she was from Germany, I want to say, and I was a patient of hers for many years. She did, she put in my InterStim implant, which was originally designed for overactive bladder, or people who had issues emptying the bladder, but they also found that it helped with some of the symptoms of IC disease. So I had that in for a few years, and for one, it stopped working. Then I found out that I had actually broken a wire at some point, because when I would turn it on, it would shock my leg. And that's what it was. It was electric stimulation that stimulated the nerve that works the bladder. But the battery that was supposed to last me like 10 or 20 years, when they scanned it, said that I had, oh gosh, that's winding me up, said that I had about 2 years left on it at that point, and I'd already had it for only 2 years. I'm like, I can't keep going and having that battery replaced that soon, because where they put the battery in, they go through the same place, and the scar's already got nerve damage where it's been cut into so many times, because you have to do a trial run, and then it's a temporary unit that they put in that extends outside your body, and then they put the permanent one in. So they have to do all this stuff. You know, you go through surgery twice to originally have the permanent one put in. Then I went for a revision surgery, and then I ended up just having it all removed. And during my revision surgery, they hit something while they were in there that caused a ton of swelling. I went in surgery feeling fine for the most part, and I came out of surgery, and when I got up out of bed, I realized that I could not use my left leg. And they were arguing with me for a long time in day surgery. Of course, my doctor at that point had already left. They thought that I was looking for medication when that wasn't it, and I told them, I said, I want to know why I went to sleep able to use both legs, and I wake up and I'm basically paralyzed in my left leg. And they didn't believe me, and they couldn't get a hold of my doctor. The doctor that they spoke with was a resident who was an asshole. But my doctor seen me that following Monday, and he tried to say there was no swelling, but I have no shame. I took a picture of my ass in a mirror, and there was a good, like, 6-7 inch difference in one cheek than the other. So there was swelling on that side. So I showed him that. But it took me months to be able to walk right just from that. But he eventually retired, and he sent me over to his wife, who's not even a doctor. She's a nurse practitioner. And all she really does is installations, which don't work. I went there one time, and they wrote me prescriptions to get everything I needed to do home installations, and I never could get the material at home, which I have a friend of mine who had the same issues. So, you know, there's that. Then I developed the latex allergy, which is common if you get
in 2 miles, use the right lane to take exit 387 for Aylor Avenue Northwest.
So I'm going over here now. This is kind of my last hope. This doctor used to work at the Cleveland Hospital, which is pretty well known for some of their innovative care for cancer and other things, as well as IC disease. And it is a hospital that is highly recommended to anybody that has interstitial cystitis. But the problem is I can't afford to go to the Cleveland Hospital. So this doctor used to work there, and I amazingly got an appointment with him. He apparently is really hard to get into. I've waited 2 months for this appointment. So I'm going over here now to meet them and see if he has anything. I'm assuming it's a he, or that the doctor's a he. To see if there's anything that he possibly thinks can be done, because the last doctor was at the point where he wanted to do I forget the medical name for it, but basically he just wanted to remove my bladder. I would have a small bladder made from my lower intestines, and then I would have a stoma next to my belly button where I would hook up a bag and drain it out. Now, some people can learn to urinate on their own with a neobladder, but some never do. So some have to wear like a catheter all the time, or like be
in a quarter mile, take the exit on the right,
or be hooked up to a stoma all the time. But they seem to think that I would do well with just one that I could drain off every so often. So we're gonna go see what he thinks. I didn't opt for...
Use the right lane to take exit 387, then use the right lane to turn right onto Aylor Avenue.
But I didn't want to go through that at 34, 35. I wasn't mentally or physically prepared for all that yet. So we're gonna see what he thinks, because given what I have learned about him, reading up on what other doctors...
Use the right lane to turn right onto Aylor Avenue. Signs for 17th Street, Western Avenue, then turn right onto North 17th Street.
I thought that maybe he would be able to give me more of an option than like a bladder revision surgery. And if he tells me that he thinks that's the best bet, well then I guess
turn right onto North 17th Street.
I guess I'm gonna have to go ahead and go through with it. I'm assuming that I'll likely be in surgery.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Grand Avenue.
You can tell I'm in downtown area, but yeah, anyway, I'll probably be in surgery in April for another hydroextension, so he can get an idea of where I'm at. But I'm gonna get off here, guys, and listen to my navigator, and I will talk to you later. So I just left Dr. Tang's office. Ting, I don't know his name. Very nice guy. He was like, you have blood in your urine. I said, yes, that happens all the time. It's from the IC. That's how bad it is. And he was like, well, I'm going to send it off for a culture, and then I want to bring you back, and if there's still blood in the urine, then we want to do a full workup. And I'm like, there's always blood in my urine. And he's like, well, I want to make sure that you don't have a kidney stone or bladder cancer because you're at high risk for it. And I'm like, I always have blood in my urine. Like, these doctors, they see me at my age, and they're, you know, they just assume that, like, I have like a regular case of IC, if there's any such thing, that most people have, that can somewhat be controlled with diet and whatnot. Like, I can live off of water and I still have flares. That's how bad it is. And anyway, but yeah, he'll see. I go back in 4 to 6 weeks, and they put me at 5 weeks, and let him run that test. He said he'll call me Friday or Monday if they found anything, any kind of infection, which is what they're thinking. But with cystitis, this happens. Those dip tests read wrong when you have cystitis, because part of having cystitis is having symptoms that mock a UTI, and then when it's cultured, it comes back as nothing. So, and I've been told a million times that just the dip test that they do at the doctors that works on most people, it's not necessarily accurate with IC patients, and I have learned that. And that's why I'm just like, you know, okay, when they say, we think you might have an infection, we're going to send it off for culture, then I don't freak out, they don't give me antibiotics, because most of the time, I don't need them. I know when I need them. I mean, I've been dealing with this for 14 years. But he is all for, if it's as bad as it sounds, for bladder diversion, because he's like, if this medicine I'm giving you doesn't work, then, you know, we're going to have to look at some other options. And that could be one of them if there's no more left, unless they've come up with something new that I've not heard of in the past year. The problem with the medication, he even said, he was like, most insurance companies won't cover it. He gave me some samples, sent a prescription, and gave me a coupon. He was like, with the coupon, it's going to be about 20 bucks. And I'm like, yeah, I can get that once. I'm not going to be able to cover that, like, often. I'd be better off just taking Pridine, because it's basically the same thing. But it's a medication for basically regulating urine cycles, like overactive bladder issues, and oh my god, that CD case is blinding me, or people that can't urinate. And I know this seems like TMI, but this is interstitial cystitis. Welcome to my world. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. And this is a good day, so. I'm assuming that when I go back and there's still blood in my urine, they'll do a ultrasound, or not an ultrasound, they'll do a x-ray in office to see if I have kidney stones. When that shows nothing, which it could, because I keep pockets of them, then they'll move on to doing another 100 distension and bladder scope, which they'll go up into my kidneys and look to make sure that I don't have cancer. And then that's when he'll see how bad the IC itself is. It's the only way to get a gauge on it. I mean, it sucks, and I hate, like, throwing all this info on people that really don't know me, but I feel like that IC is not something that's talked about enough. I mean, it just amazed me when I was asking for people's stories that have it and deal with it, to kind of put together like a video for educational purposes, or people that live with people that have IC. And there were so many women that were like, I don't know what this is. And granted, IC can affect men, but it is a very rare thing. So I'm like, it's really common in women, and they don't really know what causes it. Some think it's foods we eat that don't agree with their body. Some thinks that it is allergies, and then some think it's from reoccurring urinary tract infections from when we were younger. Don't know. I don't know. I know it sucks. I can tell you that. So I guess that we won't know any more about my case for another 5 weeks. But yeah, I tried to tell him, like, there's always blood in my urine. I told him that when he was asking me if I see it. I'm like, yes, it's always there. It never goes away. I've been just thrown on antibiotics because of that before. They just assume that I have an infection that's not in my bladder. Some doctors have said, and this is always just mind-blowing to me, but in my ureters, I think is what they're called, the things that go between your bladder and your kidney. And I'm like, if I had an infection there, wouldn't the bacteria carry on down to my bladder? Because you're not picking it up. Yeah, CVS just sent me a text saying my medicine's ready. My insurance is going to be cover that. We'll see. I don't know. They gave me something, a dietary supplement, so I could eat acidic foods and see if that helps my bladder. And he's like, I think you can get these over the counter. Now those I'm very interested in trying, because that means that I can eat hot wings and stuff. Stuff I don't need to eat because it does cause a flare. But if the dietary supplements for acidic foods help, then maybe I won't have a flare, and that would be pretty friggin' awesome. Anyway, I'm starving. I've not really ate much since I woke up the second time today. Yeah, I took a nap. Anyway, we'll check in again when the kids come home this evening and go from there. I hate driving. And I swear, when I bring you guys along with me, it's like I have somebody else in the car with me. So I have somebody to talk to. Because I'm so used to having to do all this stuff for myself. And then my husband works odd hours, so he's asleep right now. Kids are at school. Come summertime, I'll have them running around with me all the time. So it won't be so bad. I hate being by myself all the time. It's nice sometimes, but other times, like right now, I would really wish somebody was with me. It just sucks trying to deal with all this on my own because, you know, well, I mean, I wouldn't want to take the kids to the appointment that I had today, but maybe later, as long as they're not doing any kind of exams. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is crazy. I'm on the not so nice part of town, and I just look over and like I see that woman sitting over there smoking, look like she's getting in the sun, but then I noticed like all those KUB boxes tore out, and like breaker boxes, or those are fuse boxes. Those are not even breaker boxes, those are fuse boxes. And one breaker in the middle, it looks like. There's still fuses in those. But yeah, there's a lot of condemned buildings. My friend's mom used to live in that building because it was 2 apartments. But on this side of town, like, no, it's not the nicest part of town. It used to be. Like, it used to be the cruising spot, like, back in the day. Like, back in the 50s and 60s, according to my uncle. But, or my great uncle. But now it's a pretty rough part of town. Like, come down through here at any point during the day, and you see hookers galore out here. But, you know, I don't mind coming down through here to get food or something, because everybody that works at these places seem to be so friggin' nice. But they've closed a lot of the hotels around here for prostitution. And I don't know if you can see that little Caesars sign right there. That used to be a Crystal's, and then there's a Deluxe Inn over here. I don't know if it's still open, but me and my dad used to come over here late at night and get Crystals and sit in the parking lot and sit in the parking lot of what's now Little Caesars and watch the hookers at that hotel. They would literally go door to door, knocking on the door. And there's a hotel down the street, and a friend of mine had to stay there for a little bit while he was waiting on his apartment to get ready, him and his wife. And they had hookers knocking on their door, like, in the middle of the day. It was crazy. It was always interesting to go over there to, like, pick them up. I don't know. Anyway, I guess I'll let you guys go. I'm gonna eat a lot of stuff that I shouldn't eat, since I have some stuff to try now to see if it works. You know what? I really like the new shampoo and conditioner that I used with the growth serum. I mean, my hair's still showing some curls. I did put a little coconut oil in the ends, and it's not because my ends are fried, because my ends are far from fried, but they just kind of look that way due to the color. So I put a little bit of coconut oil to kind of tame them down a little bit. But other than that, like the shampoo and conditioner itself, like my hair feels great over here. I gotta go. Okay, interesting. A worker was like pointing at me. I'm like, oh God, he wants to talk to me. I rolled down the window. He's like, I just wanted to tell you your hair is awesome. Thank you. It was a mistake, but thank you. But yeah, like I was saying, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. With that new shampoo, it is so amazing. And that is starting to show my natural. When I'm in the sunlight, that's really blonde, like really blonde with some red. So I'm hoping by summer I can go without coloring it. We will see. Anyway, I'm going to try not to make a 45-minute vlog today. So, now it's my daily run over to the school to go get Aiden. And it feels nice outside, and I get in the car and it feels like it's 90 degrees in here. It's a thing about living here. We don't really have seasons. Not really. We have like summer and like a week of winter, with a couple of weeks thrown in here and there of like fall type weather or spring type weather. But we don't get spring or fall very much. It's mostly just really hot and humid, and then we'll get like a short period in the wintertime where it'll get like really cold and then it'll warm up. The past few winters, I mean, well, the last winter, I think it was last winter, or was it winter before last, we had a few days where we were actually colder here than we were in Alaska, which was crazy. Houses here aren't built to endure that type of winter weather. It sucked. But it seems like these past two winters has been so mild that it has not been cooling off, or yeah, it hasn't been getting cold enough or long enough to like kill off the bugs, like the stink bugs and the fleas and ticks and stuff like that. So then in the summertime, well, spring through summer, it is like ridiculous. And it gets so bad that they actually do their scheduled times where they want everybody to kind of stay in their house in certain areas and do sprays for mosquitoes, because they get so bad. Because like where we live, we're right near the river. There's a bunch of creeks and stuff around here where everything runs into the river. And so, like, even the soccer fields over here, there is a creek that runs around the outer banks of the soccer field. And I know that we're really close to the river over at the soccer fields, because there's an area that we fish over there behind where they build the Sea Ray boats. And the fields over there, the AYSO fields, just hold so much water. It is crazy how much water those fields hold. And like, those fields have not been graded and leveled, so it makes me nervous when they're out there playing on those fields, because I mean, as you know, like soccer with like football, you want more of a level type ground with the way they run and change directions really quick. It's really hard on the knees and ankles. And then in soccer, all their soccer cleats are low cut, and they actually check them to make sure that they don't have like the two cleats in the very front end of the toe, because that's football cleats, and they're not allowed to have those there. And I'm guessing in case you were to accidentally kick somebody, you're gonna hit them just with the toe of your shoe or the front of your shoe, and not like cleats. And I will tell you, my son is a keeper, my daughter's a defender, and my son's a keeper. And as a keeper, one of the first few times that he played, he come home and he had cleat marks in his leg, like up in his upper thigh, where they were just kind of falling into him right there, because at his age, most of them try to get really close before they kick it in, and he'll just jump on the ball. If it's inside the box, he's allowed to. my daughter had issues with that as well, but like I've got pictures when Aiden was in football. I want to say it was either his first year in football when he was playing flag, or his second year when he was in his first year of tackle. He was on the bottom of a pile-up, and when they got up, one of the kids stepped on his back. Which, I mean, it happens. It wasn't done, like, intentionally or to hurt him. And I got to looking, and I'm like, holy shit. That's a perfect cleat bruised right over his spine. And that's when I was like, if he continued to play, I was going to get him shoulder pads that had the back pad that drops down, that kind of hangs down and protects more of the spine, that meets with like the back of the tailbone pad. But he went from loving football to hating football just due to a couple of the coaches. They were assholes. And one ended up quitting after like 20-something years of coaching, and I kind of think God had something to do with that, but oh well. And the other one was his son-in-law, and I about got into it with him because he picked Aiden up by his shoulder pads one time. I was like screaming at him, shaking him, and I got in his face and I told him, I was like, you would ever physically touch my child like that again, I'm going to put hands on you, and you're a lot nicer than I am. After that, he never even would look at Aiden. And then, like, when I was having it out with the head football coach, because he was using water breaks as rewards, which is bullshit when it's 90 degrees outside and they're under like 5 to 8 pounds of equipment running and doing all this stuff, to let some kids have water breaks but not others. And I told him in the parking lot, and he was arguing with me, but what got him was there was other parents that agreed with me. And so he got in trouble and got talked to, and said that after that he had to time the water breaks. But when he was talking to me, his son-in-law, the same one that had issues with the year before, decided to get in my face. And he leaned over and was like trying to yell at me, and I told him, I said, back up off me, because if you don't, I'm going to feed you your teeth for dinner tonight. So I already had issues with him, and then I told him, I was like, I know that you're getting ready to have a kid. I feel so sorry for your kid, dude, because his wife is a bitch too. Like, if my daughter would have been under her for cheerleading, it would not have been good. Both of them, neither one of them had any right or any needs to be working around children. So, bye guys. Okay, so I was gonna just edit everything kind of just how it is. And I decided that I wanted to add a few more things in here, and then I'm done. That way I don't have like super long. I found out that the Shaker Shamrocks that I used the other day, that you can find the video for on my channel, that I fell in love with, I have 3 extra left. And you can buy them from me. You just got to message me about it, and then I'll set it up. You're gonna have to pay taxes and then shipping. It was $19 just for retail plus taxes and shipping, so it's gonna be, I was saying 25, but I'll do 24 through PayPal, and I'll ship it out the next day. But I got good news, because I was gonna hoard these for myself because I love this product that much.
What?
What
do you think?
I found out that it done so well, and Home Office was so impressed that they are going to repackage it, rename it, and it's going to be in our fall winter catalog. So I don't need the 3 extras that I have. So if you want them, message me. $24, they're yours. You gotta pay me through PayPal, and then I will ship them to you. I don't have time to meet people right now. Sorry, it's just, it is how it is. And that's with me eating some costs, but it's not gonna break me or anything, or put me in the red. So yeah, if you're interested, get with me. I'm gonna do a video here in a little bit talking a little bit more in depth about IC. I'll explain to you my situation, and then I'm going to look some stuff up, and then I'm going to talk about that too. I may not get it done tonight because I need to be in bed early because I have a doctor's appointment in the morning. My son has a doctor's appointment at KOC. And then, so I gotta be up and out in the morning when I usually like to get up. Like, I stay up later and then I go to bed. So, yeah. Anyway, love you guys. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to us. And, you know, share videos. It's the only way to help us grow. We try to do something for everybody here. And I still have the challenge out for videos from other IC patients. So I can make kind of a video compilation for people to kind of get a better understanding about IC. And also people that live with people with IC. I would like to hear from you guys too. Easiest way to do it is to hit me up on Facebook and make a short 1-2 minute video and then message it to me that way. That way it's just easier for me to take them from the messenger and then edit them all together so I can make a video. It would be nice to get so many videos that I have to do it over like a few videos rather than just one really long video. So yeah. That's what I want to do. Anyway, thanks you guys for listening. Like I said, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe and share our stuff. Let's get us out here. Let's get the world knowing what interstitial cystitis is. Let's get the world ready for skincare. Hit up my Patreon. Get yourself personalized videos on, like instructional videos on makeup tips or special effects makeup or anything else that you might want to learn that I know. And a few other things are on there. We've got tiers starting at $1 going up to $15, and that's for a month. But you don't, I mean, you can cancel it anytime, obviously. But once you cancel it, like you lose access to private blogs and special material early. That sort of thing. So, yeah, that's the whole point of Patreon, is to kind of get you guys to help support our channel so we can buy better, more professional equipment. And then in return, we give you things more than just the videos. But you'll also be getting better videos, more high-tech videos, more professional videos. And we're even going to try to do a stop-motion animation series probably every few weeks, because it does take a lot of time to film stop motion animation, but I would like to do a whole story with that and turn that into a series that I do with the kids. You got to remember, this isn't just me, this is the kids too. This is just as much their channel as it is mine, and we're all contributing to it. Right now they're sharing their journey with you with their braces, you know, and they enjoy being able to film like little shorts and stuff that they can share with you guys. And so right now we're dealing with an action cam and our phones. That's all we have. And the editing software that we have could be amazing, but it's not user-friendly at all. It is so hard to use. It is seriously easier for me to film on my phone and edit that way than to try to use that. There's an editing program that I would really like to have. It's very user-friendly with a ton of features, and it's $30. So that's what I'm looking to. Right now, I'm only asking for $50 a month. As we grow, that amount will grow too, to allow more viewers to have more options. I'll include special tiers for people who want to do a large, not a large, but you know, $20 or more a month. I'll set up a thing to do a custom plushie for you every couple of months. I could not ever do one once a month for more than one person for more than a short period of time. So, you know, once I finally reach that level, then we'll talk about that level when I get there. So anyway, thank you guys for all the support. So give us our likes. That puts us up there so people that don't normally see us can see us. And you know, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, help get our stuff out there. You're supporting my, like, hobby and my passion and their passion, and on top of that, you know, you're just really helping us out as a business too. Love you all. Bye.